Hey everybody, so I am here in Douglasville, PA at what is called Jay's Bowling. And I was looking on their website and it says that they only have open bowling available to rent. You can rent lanes $25 per hour, but I don't want to bowl by myself for a whole hour, so I'm about to go inside and ask them if I can bowl one or two games by myself for less than that. So this is gonna make or break whether or not I stay here and bowl. So I'm anxious to try it because it seems like a neat bowling alley. It was recommended to me by my friend Ryan. And so I was in the area. I was down in Philadelphia for some doctor's appointments. And so I was staying at a friend's house in Pottstown, relative/friend. And they lived only 9 minutes from this bowling alley, so I'm like, well, I'm gonna check it out and see what happens. So let's see what happens. So I just found out that they do individual games, so I came back out to get my stuff and heading in to do some bowling. Let's go check it out. Due to the bad camera angle, I decided not to show the first game. I had a 142. One of the things that I really pay attention to when I'm coming to a new bowling alley is how the approach is. Now, sometimes the approach is more slippery, sometimes it's more sticky, and I know there's a lot of bowlers who watch that when they're on a bowling alley that they have never been on. Well, because of my legs the way they are and wearing the braces, I can't bend my ankles. And so before I got these new Hallmark bowling shoes, I was always struggling to make sure I didn't slip or make sure I didn't have some sort of, shoe issue. And so having these new shoes has really helped. But coming to a new bowling alley, I still wanted to be very careful and make sure I wasn't going to slip and fall, because I have done that in the past where I've almost fallen. I've slipped. I go to do the approach and slip. But this approach was very nice and I did fairly well on it. First ball I was very hesitant, but otherwise it seemed to go very well. But as you can see in some of these throws that I am throwing here, my ball, I normally throw my ball all the way over to the second arrow, but the ball would not carry back to the pocket, and I wasn't getting a lot of pin action even when I would throw it that way. So what I did was I tried to start throwing it more towards the third arrow, between the center and the third arrow, and that really seemed to help. But as you can see, sometimes the pin action doesn't help. But then as I started to go throughout my game, the second game, I started to pick up where I needed to throw the ball. And I did leave the 10 pin once or twice, but I did finally adjust to the point where I was throwing the ball and I was hitting the pocket a little better. And sometimes the ball was so unpredictable because the oil on the lane was very unpredictable. I don't know whether or not the pattern was just out of whack or whether because it was open bowling. So it's hard to say if the pattern was just out of whack or the lane was just super oily, and I was struggling to get the ball to go where I wanted it to, so I kept adjusting and readjusting, and my throws weren't always the most accurate and sometimes not the most consistent because I had just been coming off of a trip and I was a little tired. There you can see I finally hit the pocket, but it was not the way I wanted to. And 2 in a row. But then as you can see right here, the ball goes way out and it did not carry over the way I wanted it to. EBA 175. Oh, I had a 175. Nice. Look at that. But even in the midst of all that, I still had a decent game with that 175. So moving on to the next game, it was a little, not quite as good as my 175, but it was still decent. Bowling with spina bifida and having the leg braces is a challenge because, as I said, I can't bend my ankles because my ankles don't have enough strength in them to be able to go long distances without the support. So what happens is they put me in braces. I've been in braces since I was a baby. I have actually a small little pair of braces from when I was a baby, and I have not been able to bend my ankles since. And I shouldn't say that. When I have the braces off, I can bend my ankles slightly, but when I'm walking with the braces, I can't. And so it's, after doing it for almost 30 plus years, I've not been walking for 35 years, but I've been able to learn how to compensate for not being able to bend my ankles after 30 years. As you can see, sometimes my throws are very inconsistent, but I'm getting better, and I'm really excited to see how things progress. So we'll see how things go. See, like sometimes I can just hit it right in the pocket, right where I want it to go, and boom, there it is. And as you can see right there, as I was saying, sometimes the ball just would not carry over the way I wanted it to because of how the oil was, and my ball needed baked, and I finally did get that done recently. But before I went on this trip, I had not had it done yet. So I think that was also part of the problem, was my ball was not baked, and so it was just not carrying the way I wanted it to. Certain parts of the lane, the ball would carry just the way I wanted it to, and then other parts of the lane, it just would not. So I don't know whether or not it was just the lane was out of whack. The oil patterns, like there, it did not carry at all. So I don't know how sometimes the ball will carry one time and then the next time it just won't do anything. But overall, I really like the lanes. J Lanes is a very nice bowling alley. It's very clean, and it's a very nice setup. They have lanes on one side, so the side that I'm standing on, and then if you turn around and look straight back, there's another set of lanes. I almost missed it. They had it dark on the other side. They were not using those lanes, and I was trying to figure out where are these other lanes at, and then I remembered my friend Ryan was telling me how the lanes were set up there, and then I thought about it, so I looked over there, and sure enough, it was like my eyes finally were open to a wall that I had set for myself, I guess you could say. But there was a whole other set of lanes on the other side, and I just found that really interesting because I don't know how in the world I missed it. It was so dark over there that you could barely even see the lanes. But it's a really neat setup. They have a nice concession stand. They've got a restaurant over on the other side. It is kind of a bar and restaurant. I did not go over there. I'm not even sure if it was open, but one of the cool things was they have laser tag there. They have a laser tag arena. I would have loved to go play laser tag, but there was just nobody else there to play. So hey, you want to get a group together to go play laser tag and bowling and have fun and food or whatever? Sure, let's go. Let's check it out. J Lanes in Pottstown, PA. Great bowling alley. They have a place where you can put your picture in for your name. Isn't that neat? All right, I'm gonna bowl one more game, but I'm not gonna video it, so I'll let you know how I do. So here are the final statistics for my games. I had a 142, a 175, 138, and a 160. Oh man, my average was 153.8. This is pretty cool. I have to say this is a pretty nice bowling alley, and yeah, the lanes are a little oily, like extra oily. My ball was just covered in oil. But other than that, it's a really nice bowling alley, and yeah, hopefully I'll come back here again someday, next time I'm in the area. Thanks for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time.